Right. That ended my video. I guess I'll do another video shoot. That looks better. Anyway, I think I'll do a video. It's gonna be this complaint basically on my stimulus check. And I'm gonna start back at my habits basically. So starting back in 2016, everybody knows I am a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump on 2 issues, 2 reasons, basically. One was because of abortion, and that was one of the reasons I actually didn't vote for him. The one reason I didn't want to vote for him was because he's... God, this won't stop being brown, damn it. Ugh. Because of my foundation, sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna cut it, I think. Anyway, who cares? So, to me, it's just like, for one, I voted for Trump because of abortion. I'm very pro-life. Everybody can see on my videos I talk about abortion very lightly, but if you pay attention closely, you'll see that I am very pro-life. I'm pro-life in all cases. Even actually, technically, in the case of life, I am pro-life. The thing is about that is that I do believe in an exemption. Not an exception, an exemption. There's a difference. To me, exemption means that it's not looked upon as the woman as anything wrong on her part. She should not be penalized, quite obviously. She's just trying to live, so it's what it is. On the other hand, I mean, to me, I think the doctor is not at risk. His life isn't at risk. So doing that, well, open season on him, whatever. So for me, I mean, I am very pro-life. I do think that, people who are, not pro-life as me, I generally don't vote for. Like, obviously, if you're pro-abortion, I'm not voting for you. But if you are, like, pro-abortion in the case of rape and incest, I usually don't vote for you. And Trump was the first one that I ever voted for because he was pro-abortion in the case of rape and incest. And in that same election, there was this guy running against Cortez Masto. Yeah, I think it was Cortez Masto. I forgot the guy's name. Heck? Joe Heck, I think. Right? I think. I'm in Nevada. Someone look it up. It was Joe Heck, I think. I voted for him. I mean, I didn't vote for him because he said specifically that he wasn't against abortion in the case of rape and incest. So even in that election, I did stand by my principles. It was just in the case of Trump, I kind of bent them. The reason why, because I wasn't voting for him because of abortion. And then closer to the election, they started talking about the whole thing with Scalia dying was a big impact on me. As someone who's pro-life, he's been a very good judge for pro-life people, and I wanted someone to replace him that would be just as good as him, And the main thing that did it for me was, Hillary Clinton and her whole belief on partial birth abortion, and her outwardly coming out and saying she endorses partial birth abortion. So for me, I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta do what I gotta do in a sense. And that kind of moved me to kind of like lean towards Trump. The thing that totally did it for me was that day, that moment, there was this old lady came along saying stuff about immigration and how, you know, we gotta vote in favor for the immigrants, you know. And that was what exactly did it for me. Because for me, as a black woman, I could tell what she was talking about, you know, thinking that I was gonna vote in favor of immigrants, illegal immigrants, we all know. Um, and I'm like, you know, as a black woman, people get so confused, in my opinion, because it's like black Americans, we're not immigrants. We don't come from immigrants. Like, literally, we don't come from immigrants, you know? As an insult, honestly, to say that we're immigrants or that our ancestors are immigrants, because if we're immigrants, then, you know, you're basically saying that our ancestors willingly participated in the enslavement of themselves and the abduction of themselves. They did not come to this country to be slaves and to be oppressed for 200 years, actually 400 years, I'm sorry. And they didn't come to this country, well, in America it's 200 years, anyway. And they didn't come to the country to be tortured, to be raped and mutilated for generations. People born and died, raped and abused so horrendously for the rest of their lives. Like, that is not a way of a better life. Nobody would do that, okay? So, I mean, like, you saying, like, equating us to those people, it's insane, okay? It is insane. And then, secondarily, saying that it benefits us, you know, to, you know, side with them, when they are the very ones, from my experience, of discrimination. Growing up in Nevada, northern Nevada, we have more illegal immigrants up there than we do in the South, generally, from my experience. Many of those very same people are the ones who make life terrible. For one, I experienced times where they were at work calling my mom the N-word. I grew up with times where they would try and like say things like um racist in their own language, you know. So I mean, I've seen other times where in Nevada, in the northern part, we have racism, yes, from white people, but what it do to me? Like nothing, okay? For one, you will try and say things like white people will say like N-word and they're under their breath, but you walking past. Okay, did that lose me money? Did that lose me a place to stay? Did that bring a hostile environment on my work life? No, it didn't. It was just some homeless guy mumbling under his breath. Like, what did that do? A fat lady screaming to my mom about how she's black and ugly? What? She's still hungry and fat. Like, I don't know, like, it didn't do anything. It was just on the bus, it was whatever. Like, the things that happen with other people who are illegal, they don't care about workplace. They don't. They'll say things in Spanish and other languages derogatory against other people, people of color, women. They will discriminate openly, very quickly, and very loudly against black people. They discriminate against white people, and it's hard for them to get a job. And then for black people, how do you think anyone's going to get a job if white people can't get a job? Like, literally. How do you expect black people to get a job in an environment where white people are being discriminated themselves? Like, literally. Do you really think of this? So, from my point of view, I mean, as far as immigration, she brought that up. I was like, yeah, exactly. This is exactly why. I need to vote for Trump, you know. And so I did. I voted for Trump, you know. And I was alright with it. I mean, as far as immigration went, I wasn't too happy, okay? Because, I mean, as far as Dreamers, he went so soggy and sappy over nightmares, Dreamers as they call them, um, right away. Like, right away. The man got elected, then sworn in office, then says, what are we doing with the Dreamers? Well, we're gonna make them citizens. I mean, like, that was like almost a knife in the back. But, I mean, he did do the whole thing with abortion, and he's delivered. So for me, it was like, okay, with the justices, I want him to pick them. He's doing a good job with those things. But at the same time, you know, I don't know, I don't really support, I just don't really support, like, some things as far as immigration. He's just gotten so weak. There's really no strength there, in my opinion. You want to support dreamers, nightmares, whatever you want to call them. You want to, you know, try and give illegals money in this coronavirus problem. I mean, who's been deported? Nobody, basically, at this point. I understand some people say a few people have been. That is nothing. What I wanted was everybody illegal to get out of my country. I wanted everybody illegal out of the country and their children. And I don't care if they're born here or born somewhere else. Because to me, the way I see it, if you're born here and the 14th Amendment, it was not for them. It was not for them. It was as respective to the jurisdiction. That is not them. They are illegal. They're not a part of here. They aren't. So their children are technically not citizens. And that's why for me it's like, you know, you totally failed on that. But like on abortion, he delivered. And abortion is my first issue. But then again, there are other issues like the death penalty, prison terms, things like that. As far as those, I mean, First Step Act, was that anything I wanted? Like, no. Immigration was never anything I wanted. But, you know, abortion is my main issue, so, right. That's basically how I kind of am like, I guess I'll vote for him. Now, my problem is this. As a lower wage individual, I am pissed off at this coronavirus stimulus. I'm pissed off, one, about coronavirus in itself. I'm trying to avoid people, yet we still might have this issue in fall. How am I going to have this issue in fall and expect to go with a crowd of people in a voter's block, vote for Trump, and get sick and die of corona? Do you think I'm willing to do that? I'm not willing to die over this. That's one thing. I'm not willing to die over this. That's a main issue for me. Second issue is this. It's like my corona stimulus check is not coming. Reason why? I make less than 75,000, right? I do not owe child support. I've never had a kid. I don't make dumb choices like that. I mean, I don't know what other people do, and I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just saying, for me, if I did something like that, that would be stupid. Okay. Um. So for me, I don't have any of those things. I I'm eligible basically at this point. But the main thing that they're having an issue with is this. I worked since 2014. I may have made, actually, I've worked since 2013. I made like maybe 3,000 in 2013 when I was 19. Summer job. I was really trying to look for a job, but it was hard because I wanted experience. Next job, and the next job, and the next job. I work them, but in the field, it's part-time, okay? So it's less than the amount that you need to file for taxes. For me, at least. I pay all my bills, I get everything done, everything's good, right? With that, but I make less than 12,000 usually. Usually. I mean, I don't know. I do. And so, I mean, like, I don't file my taxes. I've never filed my taxes. Never needed to file my taxes. One time I had some type of file. Oh, yeah. I did file one time. I think it was 2016. I did file. And I got like $400 or something. So, I mean, like, sometimes it's cool because you get something. But, I mean, like, if I don't need the money right now, why am I filing? For me, I'm just like, I don't need it. I go to school. I owe money. I don't need to file, really. I mean, unless I just want to pay for some debt I owe. So I don't file taxes. You would think people, and I've looked this up, people who are homeless are getting the Corona stimulus bill. I think that is so rotten. How can homeless people not get the coronavirus stimulus bill? I mean, if they're not getting, you're basically saying only like the middle class and like people who pay taxes are able to get it. But like someone like me who I don't pay taxes because I don't make enough to pay taxes. So I don't file. Like I don't make enough. I make less than 12,000. Now, I mean this year I probably have to. I probably have to because I'm an independent contractor at both my jobs. So if I'm an independent contractor at both those jobs, I'm going to have to, file. But this year isn't over. Last year and the year before, I don't file because, there's nothing to file really because I'm not gonna pay taxes and they say you don't have to file. If I don't have to file, then why can't I get my stimulus check? And it's not like I'm not productive. I work. I work probably 3 to 4 days a week, you know? I do work. But I mean like, you know, I don't know. To me it's just like annoying. Like it should be where they should have it where, like if you are on other systems, they can track that, see, this is how much you make. You make this low amount, or like look at my pay stubs. My pay stubs show how much I make. You could see when I worked at a fast food place at one point, and then I worked at my other places. Those were the part-time places for customer service and all that stuff. And like, with those jobs, I mean, like, you could just look at my pay stubs and voila, you would see that I make, less than 75,000. I make less than 20,000. I make less than 15,000. I make maybe less than 10,000 in some cases. One place, it was so bad. Like, I worked there and I did something else, put it together, and it was like maybe 9,000. So, I mean, like, in those cases, why can't someone who does produce and is productive actually get their stimulus check? I mean, if I didn't have a job right now, I would be so fucked it's crazy. Because I mean, like someone who's middle class, they have some type of savings. Okay, maybe you can't afford your mortgage, but you can afford something, you know. And like if you pay taxes and you make 20,000 a year, you can afford something, you have something that you can use. Someone like me, if I'm living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck in my, you know, early 20s, that's all I did. I would paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. It wasn't really even paycheck to paycheck because for me, I was like, I lived with a roommate and it was like 400, you know, a month or so. So, like, my expenses were pretty good. Everything was good. I had a little extra even. But even with that, maybe I'd have a month. Maybe I'd have a month. But I wouldn't have that long. But I wouldn't, you know, I would need that 1,200 if I didn't have the job I have now. I have two jobs at home right now. But that's what's really irking me and making me real upset. Because I'm like, you're not even really helping the really poor people who really need it. You're just basically helping those who make enough that they're alright anyway. Like, seriously, if you could just, like, help everyone and not think if you make 20,000 you're good enough to help. If you make 10,000, we're not going to touch you. We're not going to help you out at all. That is fucked up. That is fucked up to so many levels. Fucked up, okay? It is fucked up. I mean, making 10,000, 1,200 will really help. Do you really think someone who's making 120,000 a year, two people making 120,000 a year, are gonna really understand or see 2,400? That's not gonna mean anything to them. But somebody who's making 10,000 a year, it's a whole month's income for them. So I mean, like, that's just a shame that you can't even like help the very needy out. And that's just what's pissing me off right now. It's just upsetting. Like, they need to fix that whole situation. And if they don't, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. That really impacts my opinion of everything, and it does impact my vote. For real. It does. Not like I'm trying to bash Trump or anything, but I'm just saying someone needs to fix this situation. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just upset about that. Alright, I think I'm done. Sorry for the long rant, but yeah. I just needed to get that off my chest. Thanks.